The city streets shimmered under the cold drizzle, neon lights reflecting off the wet pavement. Harlan Aldrose pulled his coat tighter around him as he locked up his bookstore for the night. The scent of old paper lingered in the air, comforting in its familiarity. Then, he saw her. A lone figure stood in the rain, unmoving. A heavy cloak concealed most of their form, the hood drawn low over their face. Something about them felt off. Harlan hesitated. The logical thing would be to walk away. But something held him in place, an instinct he couldn't ignore. "Hey," he called out. "You okay?" The figure flinched slightly, then turned toward him. A gust of wind pushed the hood back just enough for him to see her face. Harlan's breath caught. Her features were delicate, but unmistakably alien. Skin smooth and deep sapphire, shimmering faintly as if dusted with stardust. Her eyes were mesmerizing, glowing softly, shifting between colors like a nebula in motion. Definitely not human. "I require assistance," she said, her voice carrying an unfamiliar resonance, like a melody barely heard. Harlan glanced around. It wasn't uncommon for off-worlders to pass through the city, but she didn't look like someone who belonged here. There was something hesitant, almost vulnerable, about her stance. "You're gonna freeze out here," he said, stepping forward. "Come inside." The alien woman hesitated, her glowing eyes scanning him, searching for something. Then, finally, she nodded. Harlan opened the door and gestured for her to enter. She stepped inside, her movements fluid but tense. The dim lighting of the shop cast a soft glow on her skin, making her look even more unreal. He grabbed a towel from behind the counter and handed it to her. "Here. Dry off." She took it slowly, running the fabric over her arms. Droplets of water clung to her skin, but they didn't roll off like they would on a human. Instead, they seemed to be absorbed, vanishing into the shimmering surface. "What's your name?" Harlan asked, trying to keep his voice calm. She hesitated, as if debating whether to answer. "My designation is Zalera of the Veari Dominion." "All right, Zalera. You lost." She lowered her gaze. "No. I escaped." That got his attention. Harlan leaned against the counter, studying her carefully. "Escaped from what?" She didn't answer immediately. Her grip on the towel tightened, her entire body rigid. Harlan exhaled. "You don't have to tell me everything. Just warm up first. You're safe here." Zalera's eyes met his again. There was something there, distrust, confusion, and something else, something fragile. And for reasons he couldn't explain, Harlan wanted to protect her. The days passed, and Zalera remained in Harlan's small bookstore. She never ventured outside, always glancing toward the windows as if expecting someone, or something, to come for her. Harlan didn't press her for answers. He gave her space, offering quiet companionship instead. At first, she barely spoke, observing him with those shifting, luminous eyes. But gradually, her silence eased. She asked about the books, the city, the humans who lived here. She seemed fascinated by simple things, watching the way he brewed tea, tracing her fingers along the textured pages of old novels, tilting her head when the rain hit the glass in rhythmic patterns. Harlan found himself watching her too. He noticed the way her skin glowed faintly in the dark, how she moved with unnatural grace, how her voice carried a soft echo, like a sound not meant for this world. One evening, as he prepared tea, a strange tension settled in the air. Zalera sat at the small wooden table, her posture unusually stiff. Her fingers curled around the edge of the surface, knuckles white. "Zalera?" Harlan frowned. "You okay?" She didn't respond. Her shoulders trembled slightly, her breathing uneven. Harlan stepped closer. "Hey. What's wrong?" Then she gasped, a sharp, raw sound that sent a chill through him. Her glowing eyes snapped to his, wide with shock, and something dangerously close to desperation. "Human," she whispered, her voice strained. "What have you done to me?" Harlan's heart pounded. "What?" Her breathing grew ragged. A faint shimmer distorted the air around her, like heat rising from pavement. Her skin, always cool to the touch, now radiated warmth. It burns," she rasped, pressing a trembling hand against her chest. Harlan moved instinctively, kneeling beside her. "Zelera, what's happening? What do you need?" Her fingers twitched, gripping the table harder. "Your presence, your scent, it's affecting me." He stiffened. "My what?" Her eyes squeezed shut as she exhaled shakily. "My kind, we are bound by resonance, by chemistry. I have never felt this before, but your nearness," she gasped, body tensing. "I cannot stop it. I am burning from the inside." A deep, primal panic clawed at Harlan's mind. He didn't understand what was happening to her, but every instinct screamed at him to help. "Tell me what to do," he said. "How do I fix this?" Her breath hitched. Slowly, hesitantly, she reached out, fingers trembling as they brushed against his wrist. The moment they touched, her entire body shuddered, her glowing eyes flying open. Harlan froze. He swore he felt something, a faint pulse through his skin, like an unspoken energy humming beneath the surface. Zelera inhaled sharply. "Stay close," she whispered. "Just for now." Harlan didn't move. He didn't pull away. And neither did she. Harlan barely slept that night. He sat near Zelera, watching over her as she lay curled on the couch, her body trembling with an unfamiliar heat. Her breathing was shallow, her glowing eyes fluttering open now and then, locking onto him as if making sure he was still there. She had told him his presence eased the burning inside her. That didn't make sense. None of this did. But she looked so fragile, so unlike the poised, mysterious woman who had first stepped into his shop. Whatever this was, whatever was happening to her, it was real. Harlan leaned forward, resting his arms on his knees. "Is it getting worse?" Zelera stirred, shifting slightly. Her skin still shimmered faintly, the unnatural heat radiating from her body. "No," she murmured. "But it has not faded." Harlan rubbed the back of his neck. "Do you know why this is happening?" She hesitated, then slowly sat up. Her movements were careful, controlled. "I have only heard of it in passing in ancient records. A bond, one that occurs when a Vayari resonates with another at a level beyond control." Harlan frowned. "Resonates?" Zelera's glowing eyes studied him, as if weighing her words. "We do not choose our bonds the way humans do. It is something primal, chemical. A rare phenomenon, even among my kind." Harlan swallowed hard. "And it's happening to you. With me." She nodded, the faintest hint of confusion flickering across her face. It should not be possible with a human. A strange silence stretched between them. Harlan barely understood what she was saying, but one thing was clear. This connection, this reaction, it was irreversible. He exhaled slowly. "So, what does that mean for you?" Zelera's gaze dropped to the floor. "If it does not fade, I will never be able to leave you." The weight of those words settled between them, pressing against something deep inside Harlan's chest. He had known Zelera for only a short time, yet the idea of her leaving, of disappearing from his life, sent an unexpected ache through him. "Then stay," he said, the words slipping out before he could stop them. Zelera's head snapped up, her glowing eyes widening slightly. Harlan swallowed. "I mean, if you need to be here, if it helps, then stay." "I don't mind." For a long moment she didn't speak. Then, slowly, hesitantly, she reached out. Her fingers barely brushed against his, her touch feather-light, uncertain. "You would allow this?" she whispered. Harlan didn't move. "Yeah, I would." A flicker of something unreadable passed through her gaze, relief, fear, something deeper. Then, to his surprise, she let her hand rest against his, the warmth of her skin sinking into his palm. "Thank you," she murmured. Something inside Harlan shifted. And for the first time since she arrived, Zelera didn't look like she wanted to run. Days turned into weeks, and Zelera remained by Harlan's side. The burning sensation that had once overwhelmed her lessened, though it never truly vanished. Whenever she strayed too far, a dull ache settled in her chest, pulling her back toward him like an invisible thread binding them together. Harlan never complained. He adapted, adjusting his life around her presence as if she had always been there. They moved in quiet harmony, sharing meals, talking late into the night, learning the small details of each other's lives. But something had changed. It was in the way Zalera lingered near him, drawn to his warmth. The way she unconsciously reached out, fingertips brushing against his wrist, his arm, his shoulder, each touch sending a faint pulse between them. It was in the way Harlan's heart quickened whenever she looked at him, her glowing eyes soft, searching. A connection neither of them had expected. One evening, as they sat in the dim glow of the shop, Zalera let out a quiet sigh. "I never imagined this," she admitted. Harlan glanced at her. "Imagined what?" She hesitated, then turned to him. "That I would bond with someone like this. With a human." He exhaled slowly. "Do you regret it?" Zalera was silent for a long moment. Then she shook her head. "No. But I do not understand it." Harlan chuckled softly. "Yeah, well, I don't either." A small smile ghosted across her lips. Then, before he could say anything else, she reached for him, her fingers trailing over the back of his hand, tracing the shape of his palm. A slow warmth spread through him. Her touch was different now. Not hesitant. Not uncertain. Deliberate. Harlan swallowed, his throat suddenly dry. "Zalera. I feel it," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "This pull. This need to be near you. It is more than instinct now." His pulse pounded. "Yeah," he admitted. "I feel it too." Zalera exhaled, shifting closer. Then perhaps, her fingers tightened around his. "It is not something to fear." Harlan didn't move away. He didn't let go. Instead, he leaned in, his forehead barely touching hers. The warmth between them was no longer just the remnants of her burning, no longer something uncontrollable or foreign. It was something else entirely. Something real. And as Zalera closed her eyes, breathing in softly, Harlan knew, whatever had happened between them, whatever strange force had bound them together, neither of them wanted to fight it anymore.